Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm playing the last chapter of Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition. At least of the basic game. And then I'll start playing the DLC. So if you remember from last time, there were some collectible masks that you can get, and this is the fox mask. Okay, and for the big reveal, we're finally going to find out what exactly is like this place that we are, this structure, let's say. So it does look like a ship here, and there are some people boarding on from another ship. But in reality it's much larger than a simple ship, and it will become apparent later in the video. Okay, so you can see now, even from here, how large the mow is. And that's only the part that's above water, which I'm pretty sure large part of it is below the water level. Okay, so in chapter 2 we saw that ultimately our goal is to get to that mirror. And this being the final chapter, we're going to find out why. So these guys, according to the site, are called the Visitors. Okay, and this is a very good time for me to read their description. Or rather, not the visitors, the guests. So the guests, full to bursting, the guests are an essential part of the mow's life cycle. Herded into the large hall, they slump into their bowling stools, and there they feed, without taste, without need, without end, and then they leave, one way or another. So that's interesting for a couple of reasons, and the biggest reason being that I don't think they ever leave this place. So I'm not sure what it means, like they live one way or the other. So here is the lady, and also a great chance to to read the last description. The lady. A watchful eye with graceful restraint. The lady casts the hypnotic spell that keeps the engine running. Amidst the chaos of the world outside, the Maw is the only place that makes sense. And now this rumor of an escaped child threatens everything. Nothing can be allowed to interfere. The guests must eat. The Maw must survive. So that's all the descriptions. I do want to find a better description of the Maw, but I'll do that later. For now, let's finish the main game. So we can see here the guests. And this guy here is very preoccupied with eating. So you would assume, based on this, that they don't care about you. That they're going to be ignoring you for the rest of the chapter. Which is, as we're going to find out, a very wrong assumption to make. Yes, and here's the first guy who is very determined to eat you. Will in fact eat you if he manages to get at you. There is no reason for me to showcase that here. For one reason, because they are going to get me at some point. Like, I'm not going to do this perfectly. And the second reason is there's nothing really too interesting to see. Like, they just grab you and they eat you the whole, and the game ends. Okay, and this is for me the most annoying part of this chapter, and the reason being that candle over there. I have to light up the candle, or rather I want to light up the candle, but it is in such a place that they'll catch me. Like at least 4 out of 5 times, I think. Yeah, so here we don't even get to see what happens if they eat 6. Never mind, it's not really interesting anyway. I wonder if the candle is still lit. It is. Okay, so that's good. I don't have to light up the candle every time I lose, because it's going to be... I'm going to lose a few times here. Okay. Or maybe I... Okay. That went very well. Actually, I did not expect that. That went much better than I had anticipated. Oh. And I almost ruined it, of course. Because of course. Anyway. Though we didn't get to see 186. I was kind of assuming it was going to happen at that point. So maybe I'll just let one of the guys get me to sort of showcase what happens. Yeah. And you can see him putting 6 in his mouth. So that's not a very clear. The angle isn't very good. The railing is on the way. So I'll do it again in another part where it will be more apparent. It will be easier to watch later on. So here, I think there's a guy here. He's going to chase us. And if he catches and just puts her in his mouth and eats her, just like that. Now what's so tasty about 6 that they have to abandon everything else that they're eating? Never mind. I am going to make it. This is easy. Actually, don't know. Maybe I'll cut this part. Okay, so here you can hear the elevator coming. But I think first time like it's highly unlikely that you're going to anticipate the elevator, and very likely he's going to catch you. If you've played the game before though, you will know. There's also a hiding corner here. I've never used it. And I'm not sure that you can even get there in time. Or maybe you can, I don't know. So there is the cook, the chef rather, and he's chopping up something. But he's doing it here, right? In one of those rooms that look like guest rooms. So I think you can very much guess what he's cutting. So if it's not apparent, it will become very clear now that I'm going to check this room over here. And of course the guests are sleeping in these rooms. So very clearly the guests arrive at the mall, they sit on those tables and eat until they're full, and then they sleep in these rooms. And eventually the chef will arrive and then he will chop them up. So just like I said before, the guests sleep in these rooms. And as it turns out, they're not actually asleep. But it does make me wonder, is 6 really so tasty that they ignore everything else to run after him? Like, what's so good about 6? Really? Because there must be something about here, otherwise... Okay. So it's a really funny story, but the amount of times that I lost there is ridiculous. I was pressing the wrong button. Anyway, so we're finally reaching the last of 6's hunger attacks. No, actually, now that I think about it, there's one more at the end. And of course, she's going to get that sausage, right? That's what's going to happen. She's going to eat that sausage. No. She's going to eat that gnome. And you can see up there at the table, for a moment there, a dark figure that looks exactly like 6. So poor gnome, it got devoured. So that was the lady. I don't think there is a way to grab her attention. If she does see you, she's going to turn you into something. We'll find out soon enough. Now I need something to press the button to call the elevator, and that's going to be good enough. So finally we're here, where the mastermind behind the mole lives. And you'll notice around her room, the mirrors tend to be broken for whatever reason. We are going to find out, I think, the reason is. So So here a locked room. We obviously need a key. Here I'm going to just walk behind her, just to showcase what happens if she catches Six. Thankfully she's singing, so if you walk really slowly, okay. There is a portrait there that's covered. I wonder whose it is. Maybe the lady? Oh. Yeah, definitely. Right, the girl appears. Well, the portrait appears to show the same girl as this one. And there is another one wearing a hat right there. So breaking this vase, anyway, whatever it's called, she leaves the room. Why does she do that? Like, how come she doesn't enter this room and catch Six? Clearly, like, we can't stop here, so why leave? Well, whatever the reason, it's thanks to that we can defeat her. So seeing these portraits, the portraits of the kids, it always makes me wonder whether the monsters you fight were kids at some point that arrived there. There is quite a bit of lore in the form of audiobooks and comics that explains how people arrive in this place, but when I first saw this game, okay, and I think there is a chase scene going to happen. So for some reason, she waited until we entered this dark room to chase. This is an interesting room, actually. Never mind. We're here for the mirror. The stage is set. And the second attack. And I think this is the last. So now she was a bit cautious. No, so the fourth must be the last time. Yes, this is the last. Okay, so now she's going to be a bit more cautious. Try to circle around 6. Hopefully, she will try to take her by surprise, but she fails, of course. Okay. Well, I was wrong about the last time thing, but anyway, she's down. And here is 6 suffering from the hunger again. And the lady clearly weakened. Can't stop 6. Oh, that's weird. Did she know she was going to get eaten? Like, it does feel like she was exposing her neck for 6 to bite onto. I think the mask really works for this. Makes her look more like ominous. So now with her newfound power, 6 can just walk out of there. Well, assuming that she does walk out of there, some people think she stays and that she becomes the new lady and the cycle repeats, supposedly. So now she's the one eating the guests. And finally, the outside world. Okay, so even though she's seemingly leaving them all, a really popular theory is that she returns to take the place of the lady and become the lady herself. Okay, I'd rather think that she breaks the cycle and leaves. To me, it appears to be a more fitting end, right? But because you can also see the gnomes here living, right? Like looking up at the light. If it is in fact a cycle, it fits in with the theme, actually the ending of the second game, which is a prequel. Happens before this one, chronologically. So if she does return, it fits in with the themes of the second game and what happens there. Well, whatever the answer is, that's the end of the main game. Anyway, I'm going to skip the if I can. I'm going to skip the end credits, although it seems like I can't skip them. Okay, maybe I can. No. Nothing. So anyway, this Little Nightmare is quite a big franchise at this point. Including games, comics, audiobooks, and whatnot. The second game is the most popular in the series. The third game that just came out, a few months ago, last year, actually, it was made by a different studio. So they didn't manage to capture the horror elements presented in the two games made by Tarsier. Personally, I don't mind. Tarsier is making their own game, Reanimal, anyway. So it's not like they're still going to be making this kind of game. So I don't think something is lost. Rather than that, a new company gets to continue the franchise, and Tarsier gets to make more of the things they want. So I think it's not such a bad result from this. But if you like the Little Nightmares franchise specifically, the third game is kind of a disappointment, but there are more things to it. The audiobooks are very interesting, the comics also. So there's quite a bit of lore out there. In any case, I'm going to end the video now, since there is no point in waiting for the credits to roll, and I'm going to continue in the next video with the DLC If you watched up until the end of the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Goodbye.